Greetings in the name of Ingayame and Yasantua. All that is good and great, all that is blessed and beautiful, all that is creative and conscious, and all that is positive and possible. May all your blessings be infinite like the night stars, and all good things be never ending. Hotep, I am Adisolo Bankole, your host to Mind Vibes, Thoughts from a Curious Mind, a bi-monthly podcast series exploring and examining social phenomenons then and now. Now, in this episode of Mind Vibes, I will be dealing with something that me and my queen have been talking about, and I call this When Curiosity Goes a Wanting, When Nostalgia Takes Over. But before we go there, hit that like button, subscribe, share, leave a comment. Now again, when curiosity goes a wanting, when nostalgia takes over. Quote unquote, curiosity is the wick in the candle of learning. William Arthur Ward. Now, I'm dealing with this because of something that's kind of occurring within the family, but it will extend out to the greater society. Right? Every now and then I drift in the past, reminiscing how it used to be or what it could be. But like Jimi Hendrix and Bob Marley reminds us is that the past is the past and things aren't what they used to be. The lack of curiosity is your surefire way to go down the road to apathy. Recently, as usual, my queen and I were discussing a person we know who, for some strange reason, has moved into this place of having a lack of curiosity, this space of apathy, where there seems to be no interest that this person has, save for being nostalgic about what was and trying to make you remember as they do. I am both interested and somewhat disturbed by this lack of interest, not only in knowledge, but just the apathy towards life itself. In India Ari's song, Back in the Middle, she states, quote unquote, she is 25, spent over half of her life so afraid to speak her mind. Oh, it's such a shame because, oh, what a beautiful mind she has. But here in this case, Miss Ari deals with how overconfidence when a little knowledge is gained can lead to arrogance. But what happens when one doesn't even acknowledge their lack thereof, but continue to marinate in the stew of apathy, believing that the past is a worthy place to be in? I often wonder how a person becomes that way, of not having an interest in anything, just being blissfully ignorant without even the slightest hint or desire to question why. Now, with this friend of ours, we are still trying to figure this out. What has caused this lack of curiosity on this person's part? Or were the remnants of this personality there long before we got to engage with this person? Why one can walk in this world without curiosity, but oddly has opinions that they believe to them are truth and facts. Yet at the same time, because they tend not to listen, with their lack of knowledge, they often believe that they are knowledgeable of what is being said, and therefore their opinion is right. It's amazing, how being, as Roland Martin says, stuck on stupid or just being blissfully ignorant. But at the same time, you really can't conversate with them because, their mind is already made up. No, this is truth. This is fact. When the opposite is the case. The question, at least for me, is why these people have this lack of curiosity. What is it that creates this apathy, this attitude? Even those who are deemed introverts have a level of curiosity. They deal with interest. They are just not comfortable around groups of people. Introverts, they may not be totally devoid of interest or devoid of curiosity. They just don't don't feel comfortable with being around people. But they many of them be on the computer. They just their curiosity just takes them out to the nine. Now, there are, however, a set of people who may lack the curiosity that is fundamental in developing and learning. And these are people who have certain mental issues and may not have the capacity for higher thoughts. But this is not the case with our friend. In this case, there seems to have always been a lack of interest in seeing and doing things. And when our friend joins in an activity, it's only because everyone else is doing it. But here, there is a need for this friend to complain about the activity itself. And it's such a strange thing. You have no interest. You have no curiosity. Save but what you grew up with on your street. But at the same time, when people try to involve you in activities, it's like pulling tooth and nails, and then once you get there, it's complaining about the activity itself. For example, we took an elder out to a restaurant, and it was a bit on the pricey side. Okay, yeah, but every once in a while you got to you got to spend a little to enjoy it, to enjoy life, And so we took this elder out, and here we are driving, and all we're hearing is, oh, well, I could have done that, or I could have bought that. I don't need to spend such and such. And it's like, okay, let's stop the car. You can go ahead and walk back home. But it's a lack of interest, a lack of curiosity, but a need to deal with the idea that their opinion is right and that they have the right to make other people miserable by complaining about the activity that you're participating in. Again, I am often puzzled by this lack of curiosity, since this is one of the stepping stones for the growth that all human beings at least should possess. Unfortunately, with our friend, it seems curiosity has gone a-wanting, and nostalgia for what was for nostalgia has kind of taken over. This friend's belief is that back then, the only world was the street they lived on, but as Ashford and Simpson sings, quote unquote, just supposing is a waste of time, a play on words. Perhaps that is the world this friend desires to live in. But of course, this only stymies growth, denies the ability to be curious and stifles one to take an interest in not only their environment, but of the world itself. As I stated before, I sometimes travel back in the day, but this is not like the film Back to the Future or some sci-fi time traveling adventure where one can rechange or at least create for themselves a world that is to one's ideals. But to stop being curious, to have a lack of interest, and to, however, not engage in a dialogue, but to hear yourself believing that what you say is right, makes for a very unlearned individual and one who walks through life with no empathy and or lack of awareness of others simply because apathy and nostalgia seem to rule their everyday thinking. To me, that is not only unsettling, unhealthy, but dangerous. Because they are some of the ones to whom a charismatic figure can easily manipulate, and oftentimes to the worst. And that is most dangerous. Because many of them can easily be persuaded, like others, to be occult followers. And there are far too many of these incidents, like Charles Manson and Jim Jones, who, because many of these individuals lack the curiosity and were apathetic in their lives. You know? But it's also dangerous because when you get these type of people, you know, they don't see anything other than what is in front of them. They don't see, you know, or they don't go on Google and say, okay, let's check this out, you know, or let's check this person out, you know, because this friend of ours, another friend of ours say, yeah, well, you vote for the orange man. Okay, yeah, she did it. And it's like, you know, this idea that you know, well, I don't care about so-and-so, or I don't care about this, or I don't, it's like, if you deal with groups of people like that, then that potentially becomes dangerous, because I used to have an Indian woman who was a therapist, a physical therapist, and that was her thing, was well, I don't care about that, and it's like it becomes very dangerous because then you become myopic in your view, you become caustic with your attitude, and you become an uncaring person. And to live in a world where there are other people and you show no empathy, you show no curiosity about other people, then that is a surefire way for a society and a civilization to crumble. Because when you have these type of people, these type of people, they don't give anything to society. They don't contribute. And if we are, as a society, needing to move in a direction that is going to be feasible, livable, utopic-like, we have got to deal with always being curious, because there are basically three gifts that human beings have. We have hindsight and we have foresight. We have imagination, but most important, we have curiosity. That power, that force to push us, because we are willing to learn what is out there. And it may not always be good, not always bad, but it's just how we as human beings grow and develop. And when you have people who don't have that, who have this curiosity that goes to wanting, when nostalgia takes hold, then that's a problem. And it's not only a problem with that individual, but it is a problem with society itself. Now this is DC Olabayi Bankole saying, Madasi P, and may we all strive to bend the arc of justice towards humanity and believe that love and peace can be achieved. Madasi P.